Welcome back to the Cute Boys. My name is
Yay.
Jeremy.
And my name is Akeem.
And we are now reviewing chapter 12 of George M. Johnson's book, All Boys Are Blue. Chapter is titled The
Prom Kings We Never Were.
Because I can read.
Yes, you can.
I graduated.
Okay, so this chapter started out, interestingly enough, talking about routine. I don't know why. I thought that was like important.
I did too.
But yeah, chapter 12 started out talking about the routine of things, and I thought that was it. I thought it was important. I thought it was like interesting because, again, it's just like life in general is just a routine, and we kind of sometimes get caught up in that routine. The description of what George said, in particular, their school year started on September the 11th, 2001. We all in America know, and I feel like the world know what September 11th, 2001 is. So, but this story is not about that, but it's good, like, because it was just like, I'm in the routine of things. I'm doing this thing, and then this is what happened.
He just recounted kind of what was going on that day.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Do I remember I was? Oh, so I was 10, and
so you had to be like 6th grade, but
yeah,
you just started 6th grade.
I was 10, and I feel like I do remember like the news, and it was just something like so dramatic, and I think, especially recounting now as an adult, the realization was like, if we really want to be honest and real about things, it's just like, we as Americans thought we was the big dogs and we was untouched, baby, and somebody stepped in and said, boop, let me touch you.
I don't know why. We've gotten beaten up.
But my thing is not let me touch you. I'm gonna touch you more than once. Mm-hmm. Okay, in multiple areas. Oh, baby. And when I say we quicken our feet to get it together, we said, we have been slacking, lacking, and we gotta get it together. But
it's so tiring.
You know what's crazy? And for some reason,
it used to be so simple back in the day.
I know. You know what's crazy? I remember, for some reason, I don't know why, and I thought, even to this day, I low-key feel like it was lame. It was like, what? But I think it was the day after we did this activity, which was so random. But like, my teacher was teaching. I think they all knew, like all the teachers knew. My teacher was teaching, and I think it was like the principal and somebody else. As the teacher was teaching, I don't remember who the teacher was. I don't remember what the class. I just remember they came in. When I say they, it was like 2 people. They came in, again, as my teacher was teaching, like did some stuff behind her, like did some movements and, moved some stuff around and then walked out, right? And so maybe several minutes later, they may have came back and they stopped, like my teacher stopped the lesson and was like, do y'all remember what happened? Let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, that's how quick things happen. You got to be vigilant. You got to watch.
At least they had a conversation with y'all.
And I was like, girl, what? And granted, I guess for me, because
as kids, you're just like, we don't know what's going on.
I meant that, but it was in conjunction with 9/11. But at the same time, it was like, as a Black person, I'm always vigilant. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like for me, it was just like, I've been through this lesson, baby. Like, it was, you know what I mean? It was something, because I know they have the thing, I think I've seen it in New York, but I know they say it a lot in the airport and stuff, like, see something, say something, all this type of stuff. But it's just like, I feel like it may have been heightened after.
Because of the power that they hold, a lot of things don't get changed till white people are affected by it. Just like today.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, now that their bills have been affected.
Please. Oh my God. That is my, let me tell you.
I love her.
When I say spiritual animal, like.
I'm talking about the character.
Boss and CEO. My God. 2 on
but now,
today.
Maybe we need to make changes in the country. And it's like, this been. Let me tell you.
We have been
From the get-go.
Since we got here. And when I tell you this might not need to be, we might need to just make this an episode of the episode. This might be the podcast, because if we're going into things, because it's supposed to be about poverty, we might just need to revamp this, because if we're going into the things, it's just like, baby, like you said, since we set foot on these grounds that y'all stole and y'all asked us to build.
No. Y'all forced us to build. It wasn't an ask. Y'all enslaved us and then whipped and murdered.
You see how the revisionist thing got to me? It done got to my mind.
Your mind. Get it together.
Oh my God.
Remember the skin you're in. Because once you step out the door, you are just.
Woo.
What did Kanye say? Still a nigga in the coop with us.
Oh yeah, this is true. Now, y'all, if y'all don't know, I love me some Ye. He's my problematic baby.
Yeah, he loves him some Ye.
Okay, but that was a line. That's a ministry. Like, it doesn't matter. Even with, and I know right now Oprah is a big topic. Unrightfully so right now, but she's done.
You said unrightfully so?
I feel like right now we can talk about it, but
I was talking about that on the podcast.
Oh, I thought we was turning this into the podcast. Okay,
we still on chapter 12. Okay. No, it's. I was just gonna say, Sweet Heat for our conversation about
this poverty. Is just a peek into Sweet Heat.
Yeah. Give me a little.
This is a little sneak peek.
You see how it's sweet, but it's got the fire behind it. You put that in the back of your throat. That's what that is.
I was just gonna say, but speaking of like you still in a coop, it just reminded me. I think there was a story that came out that Oprah was in another country.
Oh yeah, we talked about that story many times. Not us, but
yeah. But it was just like in America. When they played in her face. yeah. But it was like in America. I feel like most people may recognize her or should recognize her, right?
People know who Oprah is.
But it was just like in another country, baby, billionaire or not, huh?
You still? Who are you?
You still in there?
Because we white over here, and white is right according to our what we think. And it's like,
yeah,
you black.
Yeah. You don't.
What money do you have?
The morning routine, the routines in general that shape their life. And for everybody, I think at that point was just pretty much changed. And
now, to be fair, let me share my story real quick.
Sure.
I don't remember a thing. I was 7.
It was a blur.
I was 7.
Yeah.
I was 7. I was in 3rd grade. I don't know what was going on.
He's like, la, 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 la.
I have an idea. I think we turned the lights off and my teacher turned on the TV. And we watched it. But I didn't know what was going on, nor did I recall, because
he's like, this could be a movie.
I don't know what's going on. In that time of life, everything was kind of hazy. Yeah. I was focused on being a kid.
I'm sorry, can I just say this? I feel like that's amazing.
What?
That you just was like, yeah, it happened. I was alive, and so what? Like, let's just move on, because not saying like I didn't
understand the significance.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And I had family in New York at the time. My aunts and cousins all lived up there.
It just wasn't. It was just like, what? Yeah.
And there's nothing that my mom, like, afterwards that I remember came back and sat down. I was like, oh no. I'll probably ask her about that when I go see them sometime later. Because my grandmother's sisters were up there, like I said, cousins and stuff. But as far as my memory and my experience with it, I blank. I mean, I get like little bits and pieces. We turn the lights off.
I mean, but yeah, I was just saying, I think it's beautiful, and not in a way of like, again, just thinking about the impact of the world. I'm just saying, like, on your psyche.
Yeah. Because
for me, I'm just like.
So you felt the weight of it?
In a sense, because I feel like I was on social media a little bit, or didn't we have MySpace? What was that, MySpace?
I wasn't really on MySpace till like 5th grade, 6th grade. Like, that was a middle school thing for me.
I'm trying to think what it was, but I just remember like consuming it beyond school. I know we were talking about it, and I think
news a lot, yeah,
and it was just, and
the radio, probably.
And so for me, and like for me, I know I was around people that love the news and did all that stuff. So,
and being in the part of the church, I'm sure y'all was lifting them up for the brethren up in the
yes.
Hey,
but so then. Again, that was a routine thing, and then like fast forward to the next day, Or that particular day, George said they met someone on, well, not met, observed,
Yeah, he saw
saw
somebody on the
someone that
bus.
caught their eye.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like I locked eyes. I didn't want to lock eyes.
He
It was
was
just
like,
like a
I
nervous,
see
right?
I see something familiar in you.
Because I think
They look alike.
I
They're kind
think
of the same
George mentioned
frame.
like we see each
We
other
see
in
each
the
other.
little thingy. Yeah. But yeah, like identifying that similarity with that guy. So it wasn't until the next day that George ended up speaking. And it was some very what do you call it? Surface level conversation. But it was just like conversation like I want to get to know you, but not know
I
you
don't,
like
because
that.
I'm still getting comfortable with who I am, and clearly
And
you are
hiding
too.
as much as I can.
Yeah, because I don't understand it, and it's once again not. I don't know how safe it is right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of safety, I believe, and it was so interesting that George brought up that they were talking on AIM. Have you ever used AIM for AOL?
Yeah, I mean, no, I did not. I mean, it
Okay.
was around, but I was a Yahoo girly, a Yahoo Messenger girly.
I feel like I did Yahoo and I did AIM, but
AIM was a bit before my time. We
I
didn't have the
think
internet also at the
I
time.
gotta figure out I want to figure out what my name was. It's so funny, but I do remember I have one friend. I'm gonna try to share this episode with him. His name is Brian. If you're watching, hey Brian.
Hi, friend.
But I just remember. You remember ASL?
I remember all of it. It's just we
No,
didn't
no,
have the
no.
internet at
You
the time.
remember when they would say ASL?
Yeah.
That used to kill me because baby, that was just the thing. It was like ASL, age,
Come
sex,
on. I was about to say
location.
it's age, sex, location for those that don't know, the younger people.
And when I
Just to figure out where you are.
that's what right. That's that
Not
for
American
me.
Sign Language. Or the disease. Or, condition. Excuse me.
So many things. But for me, that was the thing that I was like, oh, this is fun because I remember AOL, AIM, and then also going into BGC, honey.
Now that was the thing.
So, but I feel like I remember
And it's
meeting.
Black Gay Chat.
Yes,
For
I
the girls that don't
remember.
know.
I remember meeting Brian on AOL. I talked to like a lot of people, random people, and I think there was like some type of
that was the
game
time
or
where the internet was just like it was open.
yeah, I remember if it was like some type of little thing where you could use your face or a person you got to go in chat rooms and talk to people and stuff like that. Very interesting. I don't know, but ended
The
up
early
meeting
days of social media.
Brian. Brian lived in Michigan. I want to say it's called Ypsilanti. So this Brian's gonna know which Brian I'm talking about. But Ypsilanti, and I might be saying it wrong, or Ypsilanti. Yeah. But either way, we talked. I'm like, I'm never gonna meet this person. Why did Brian end up enrolling at Elizabeth City?
Oh wow, small world, as they say.
But Brian made it very clear. I came here for you.
Now, one thing about this one, because this is just a side note, he has the host. He has the roster, which is a wonderful song by Jasmine Sullivan. We love her. Love her
Also,
now.
Ludacris. We're not going to go there because I don't.
Yes, he does. And he's had them for a long time.
This is not true.
He got them now. He got people that want to marry him, lock him all the way. DOW.
The lies that people tell. We're not going to believe these lies. Lies, fallacies, which is not. Okay.
Whatever.
But here we go.
It's the truth.
Everyone have different truths. And they're,
This is just objective.
Yeah. But George mentioned, like, as they were talking on AOL, because this was a person that George got to see regularly. So they did get to build a relationship, if you will, with the quotes. And the person,
the guy was like 2 years younger than him. George was a junior, and the other guy was a freshman.
Yeah. And that person asks, "Are you gay?" on AOL on the chat. And because of the, like, again, the freedom and trying to hide who you are and live a life,
the lack of freedom.
Yeah, the lack of freedom. George did say that they weren't, but George made a very important statement. It was like, how do you trust someone with the highest secret in your life? And it's like, you think about, like, what are, quote unquote, your secrets in your life? And it's like, who do you trust with it? How do you trust them with
And they also expressed who they wanted to ask.
Yeah, and I thought that was good. I thought that was good as well. But my question to you was, and going along with that, because that was like the next thing is like, who is the right person to ask? Are you gay? Because it's like,
it starts at home, like we talked about in the last chapter.
But how do they ask it? Because I've had someone ask me that question, like they suspected their son that was a teenager. How do you ask?
It's not about asking, I don't think. It's about creating the space of allowing the individual to share. Like, we talked about a couple chapters ago. Let them invite you in. Give them all the space and the love and the care that they need to then be able to express or come to you, or to let them know, hey, no matter what you're going through, who you are, I love you regardless. Instead of being like, hey, so let me get into the tea. And it's like, chill. That is because for a lot of queer people, we know how the feeling. It's like it's isolating. It's just, I don't have any community. I don't belong here because nothing is made for me. These spaces are not for me.
Yeah.
And so it's to, personally, I believe it starts with at home.
Is there a way that you would want your ideal situation?
Once again, like I said, hey, no matter what you are, what you're going through, who you love, I will love you anyways. I got the exact opposite conversation. Yeah, from my parents.
It's funny because I feel like I got the opposite as well, but at the same time, my parents were not together at a certain point. You can zoom in on that. My parents were not together at a certain point.
I mean, mine weren't. I'm saying parents just because I don't feel like going into the messy conversation.
Oh no, I'll keep it real. You said keep it real. So my parents was not together at a certain point, but also my mom dated men up until I was in high school, which is crazy because I guess that's when I started to get a little bit more free, but at the same time, secret, quiet about who I am, what I was doing. That's when my mom started dating women. I want my mom to watch this; she can verify, but because I'm grown. But I love you, but I'm grown.
Child, not a child.
Yes. But for a long time, and my mom was very honest about who she was and stuff like that. And I've grown and learned a lot about my mom. But a part of it was, again, what she knew as a parent. And she just was like, I know to raise my child like this, right? But I didn't feel comfortable with letting my mom know. Because I know my mom asked me. I laughed, or I was thinking about chuckling a few seconds ago, because I was thinking what would I think was ideal?
But that's the thing. How did your mom ask you? That is
important. It was abrasive. It wasn't no safe space.
Exactly, because my mom asked me the same thing, but it was like,
yeah. It wasn't. It was. Oh, are you gay?
Hello.
So you doing the bending? So, yeah.
Once again, it's how. It's the tone.
I'm not gay. I'm not gay no more.
I like girls.
Who is gay? What's gay?
I like vagina.
Oh, what's my girl name? Rest her soul, Miss Juicy. She's like, what they saying? I'm a lesbian. I'm gay. I'm not gay.
Did she pass away?
She did. I believe she did. Let me see. I could have said she did.
I thought the other little woman passed. I didn't think Miss Juicy did.
Oh my God! Please don't tell me.
Because I know that one passed from the show. This is a side note, but Miss Juicy passed
away. That woman is still alive.
I thought so. I'm like, you trying to throw her in the ground? I'm like, I did not hear her passing away.
Please take this out.
Now listen, the other like a couple months ago, I sent him a text like, "Oh Lord, she passed away."
We laughed. Oh my God.
She passed away 2 years ago. I do this every year. I do. And I'm like, I don't know why. I always forget that she already passed.
Oh my God.
Some people be posting the picture and I'm like,
I hate it. Because I was like, and mind you, Cicely Tyson was, I was born on her birthday. Okay. So, we are.
Hello.
The peoples. Okay. Dang, what was I saying? So. Are you gay? Yeah, I think, and I think about like if my child was to be gay, I think I'm gonna make it like the most hilarious and funny thing. I'm probably gonna bring home like all the rainbow gay
You gonna
stuff
be
as
like,
possible.
do it for your pride, or
I'm like, yeah, do it
for
for
your
your pride.
pride.
Cause what it was something else that's coming to mind is like, oh yeah, do it for you. Cause you gay, right? Like, I think cause you gay. Yeah. I'm like, I got y'all this stuff. We're going to Pride. You got some friends you want to come?
I got all the rainbows. I got the cupcakes and all the colors.
I'm like,
you gay,
right? But yeah, I don't think I have like a moment. Like, I mean, like I said, I do remember my mom asking me. My mom had to ask me more than once. My mom asked me more than once. But
my mom asked me one time, and that was the last time. Because after that, I cocooned.
Oh no, my mom asked me more. I was always, as you can imagine, I was always the person that was like, the life of the party. But my mom asked me more than once. But the thing that I think, and I told my sister about this, and my sister found out before I did. I think I was more so upset because we were in the church, living in the South. Church is like gay. Oh my God, you're gonna bust
his
hell
mom
wide
was
open.
in ministry, so
yeah, it was just like, but we lived. I told people we lived in church for real.
Mm-hmm.
But what made me so upset was just the fact of like, oh, you're gay. Oh, mom, you're gay. And shout out to her. She celebrated 10 years of marriage with her wife. But
I mean, there's the layers and levels to it all.
Yeah, I'm just like, girl, you're asking me, am I gay? And it's like, that was her highest secret, if you will. Deep down inside.
But she also knew how she felt, and she probably didn't want you to go through that same thing.
So and I used to say that, and I say that as well.
So that you don't have to. But it's like, whether...
Why not protect me and let's go through this journey together?
It's like, what are you trying to... I'm still journey. Here. Okay?
I'm still here.
Now, again, we've talked about this song before, and I have it on my phone because I do think it's a great song. Thank you, Tisha Campbell. I think it's amazing.
Because it's that is a testimony.
I love her interviews. Like, she's a real person.
If we're gonna be honest, because even after 2023, God willing, this year ends well. But I'm just after every day.
It will end well. It's going well.
After every day, like yesterday, I thought I was gonna be blown away yesterday with that storm.
That was a bad storm.
So it's just every day. But okay.
Yeah, but the layers too. It's interesting having a gay parent or a queer parent, but also being hurt by that same queer parent for being queer.
Yeah, and again, just realizing, if you will, like she didn't have the tools. I don't think.
Oh no, that's why I said she had her own front line work.
Yeah.
Just like
so
you have your own front line
I
work.
Get it, and I mean,
especially being a black woman.
Yeah.
Oh, black woman in the South.
And I mean, she has definitely changed a lot, but to add more layers,
she's married.
When we talk about right, but I was gonna say when we talk about layers, like a black woman in the South, the term that people like use, black fat woman, like
big body woman,
big like that body
and that
size.
That also is a big
that alone is like, they want you for so much. They'll let you cook, they'll let you do other stuff, but it was like you're not desirable and all that. So it's just like, and I've seen that. Like I've known that.
Because my mom looks like this.
Oh no, my mom. But now my mom has lost a lot of weight.
And she had me. I was a solid baby. Oh, my mom only reached 100 pounds when she got pregnant with me. Oh, that's how small she was.
Oh wow!
And I tore her up.
Well, my mom, I didn't say the same thing about me. I tore my mother up from the root to toot, is what they like to say.
I'm just saying, even size, but anyway.
But yeah. But yeah, that's all I had for that. Because the friend asked or the friend person they were getting to know asked, were you gay online, and that just made me think of that. But yeah, anything else? What's next? Because we went off on a tangent.
The other questions I have are not really related to anything I was gonna ask. George mentioned some of the activities that they were a part of in high school. Do you recall any extracurricular activities that you were part of in high school?
High school. So if you know me, and now you all are about to know me some more, I finished high school in 4 years, but I went to 6 different high schools. I was always on the move. I didn't have anywhere to like necessarily be.
Oh,
I
true.
remember one time, and this is speaking of, I wish I knew where these people were today. But if you know me, you know I love the Lord. I love the Lord.
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
come on. It's got to be with a T when you mean it.
And not only that, I remember one time, and I think I like used to sing in the church choir, or at least tried or whatever, children's choir. I remember going to a high school, and I had friends like, "Oh, you should sing with the school choir." I remember this was probably like the only thing that I went to go do, and it was like, oh, I got rejected, but it wasn't explicitly like, oh, you can't sing. It was like, nah, because he's gay, and we don't do that gay stuff in this, church like school choir. But it was never explicitly said. It was like there was other reasons,
I
but
get
then
you.
when it came back to me, it was like, no, this is what happened for real. And they talked like the person talked about it that made the decision. Like, of course, not around me.
Because you can't do it to my face, coward.
Yeah, so it was like that was the only thing that I tried to be a part of. I can't think of anything
I
else because
love to say it to my face.
I was always on the move. So again, that goes back into, shout out to my friend. I sent her the other video, Jalen. Because she asked me, she was like, "Why do you love this school?" When I got to college, and once I told her, I was like, "I went." She was like, "What high school did you go to?" I said, "Oh, I went to 6 different high schools." Not thinking about the trauma,
Yeah.
because I was just in it. I was just.
You never had a place of being stable.
I've never had a home.
Mm-hmm.
So when it was like Elizabeth City was, I get to come here year after year after year, and I can call this is stable.
I'm not used to.
This ain't going nowhere. Yeah, like
nothing being taken away from me,
honey. Yeah. And it was just like the people are going to be in place. The people that worked in the CAF alignment, they were mainly, everybody was like stable, like CAF. The people that did the ID cards, the people. I have this lady. Oh my God, she was like my mom away from home, like Miss Anita. Probably seen this video too. Anita. But like she looked out. She worked in the copier place. She worked in the mail room.
I say administration.
Yeah, like people started to know me, and so there became relationship across campus. And it's like this is where these ties were. So when I talk about HBCUs and my alma mater being like Wakanda, this is why, because in high school I didn't have that.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was just like once I got there and I made these connections, like I don't want to let go. And I still have contact with a lot of those people, and of course a lot of the students that became friends and stuff like that. So
wow.
Yeah. So high school, no. College, yes.
Now, I only went to 2 different high schools. But I was a band geek. I was in jazz band. I was in symphonic band. I was in concert band. I was in the marching band. I was in the bands. But I also did a lot of different clubs. I was in the debate, multicultural society. I did like if you see my senior yearbook, you'll just see my face. I was like, I'm gonna go to this. Now I'm going to this picture. When it was picture day, I was there.
You had to be there,
but it was just trying to find a place.
Community, a theme that keeps coming up.
Yeah, and it wasn't until I went to college, which is why Howard will always have a place in my heart, because that was the one time in my life, like up to that point, where I felt like I could just be. Yeah. When I tell you, I was like, I'm gay. Yeah. And there were people there that were just like, hey, you might not want to say that because, people be around. I'm like, and I've never been able to just express myself as being a gay man. Yeah. And now I can do that. I don't care about y'all knowing that because it's the truth. I was still going through and like struggling with identity, because it was like I did have the side of me that loved the Lord. Mm-hmm. And then just that other side of like, straight passing, because it was I had a girlfriend in college. Mm-hmm. I did. I broke up with her because I knew better. I couldn't tell her the truth at the time. It was too hard and painful because I did love her. I know she loved me, but it was like, it's not going where you think it's gonna go.
Come on, Will and Grace.
Knew. And she knew where she wanted things to go, and I knew where she wanted things to go. And I was like, it's not happening. And there were other girls that liked me, and I'm like, oh, please
back up. I just need a beard right now, and I only need one beard. I could wear one beard at a time.
But yeah, that sense of home.
Mm-hmm.
I felt the same way when I went to Howard. And it was like, I finally got out of my hometown, quote unquote, and I was in this big city. And I was like, this is where I want to be. Mm-hmm. This is where I want to be. I have friends for the first time, even if I'm not actually friends with them like that. Mm-hmm. I felt like I had friends. Now, was I doing horrible in school? Yes. I was doing terrible.
Socially, you were passing.
Oh, I was doing great. And that was good enough for me. Now, that was also the time I had my first real crush and got my little heart broken. It was a bad time. But hey, we live and we learn and we move on. Stay away from light skin. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. But yeah, that's really all I have. We pretty much covered everything I had.
Okay, so I'll go through these last few points. I think it was interesting that George pointed out, like, years later, like, fast forward, because during that moment of, like, the AOL thing, that questioned him about, and it was like years later, talked about DC Pride meeting or running into Zay at the club. Like, I know George gave Zay another name or a full name from the beginning. Then it was like, okay, this is their nickname because we're still friends. We're cool. Talk about relationship.
He's like, I mean, we friends, but who knows where things could go.
Yeah, and it was like,
he's still fine.
This is Zay. Yeah, and so it was just like they laughed because it was like in that moment they knew, what could it, or not even what it could have been, but it was just like we kind of knew, but at the same time that was a lesson for George because it was just like, as George points out, like we don't know where it could have went if I was courageous.
Had he asked me that question, I was able to be honest and say, yes, I am.
Because also what we tend to see, and I think a lot of times, I think George has pointed out, and I hope this book is doing for a lot of people, because it's done for me, but it's like your liberty or your quote unquote your light allows other people to shine. So and I know I love Kelly Rowland because she has mentioned that before, because people have talked about Kelly and her relationship with other people, and it's just like Kelly is a superstar. Like Kelly doesn't need anybody else. You know what I mean? And that's been the conversation to talk about who Kelly Rowland, honey. And like, I don't even. And
she went through that thing.
I'm gonna say when Kelly's show come to the States, I'm going. Okay,
because she went through it, and that's what Dirty Laundry is about. If you've ever heard that song, she kind of went through having to face: is my identity, is my worth only based on being connected with this individual, which is Beyonce,
right?
We can say names,
but now she's at a point in place where it's like, I love my relationship with Beyonce, my sister, but I also love the fact of who I am and like what I do for other people, because
and I will not diminish my worth.
Yeah,
just because.
Oh my God, and I think that again sidetracked it, but like even she had an interview with oh my God,
yeah,
Marsha
that
Martin.
One. Oh yeah,
did you see that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
and
my
they
God,
tried to diminish her. Then.
And they still had to they still corrected her, and I mean they corrected the interviewer, but they did it so well and so professional. I'm just like, y'all still don't get it. Like, and it's sad because it's like, y'all don't get it. Like, this is Kelly fucking Rowland. Like, I will pass out. It could be anybody come to this goddamn. Any of them Destiny's Children come to this goddamn. I'm gonna pass out.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a Michelle fan down, and I did not like Michelle. And I'm telling my truth. Listen, I used to throw Michelle in the back behind Farrah. I know it's the truth. I'm gonna be honest about my sins. Oh, okay. I know. I had to learn.
Okay. I had to learn. To the light. Hallelujah. Because
I love Michelle. I love her music.
Hallelujah. I'm glad you come to the light.
She saved my life. Amen. And I'm not playing. I'm not kidding. That Believe in Me song was another dark time when I first moved to Houston. Oh, I was going through it. She saved me. And the whole album, I said,
come on, Testimony.
This what I've been missing out on?
Come on, Testimony.
I did not know Michelle was... I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Michelle Ben Williams. Okay?
Michelle Nitra.
Yeah. Let's come through.
Sorry.
Through. Yeah.
Andrea, Beyonce.
Yeah. I mean, they're literally...
Latoya.
Let's tell you, they're all just It was
So
a
long,
reason.
Jay.
It was a reason.
My God, they're
But
blessed. They are blessed people.
yeah. But I thought it was like interesting that George mentioned that, and again, things could have been different.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but what they went through was what they were supposed to go through to
right,
become.
and to become, but also to share the message, because like after all that, it was
Become. Sorry.
becoming. But George mentioned is the quote on the back of the book. It says, "Be bold and brave and queer." So it's just like it's hard, it's challenging to do all those things and to show up and to be unapologetically yourself. And I'm still working on that.
And to balance it all again with how and the world is changing.
Yeah,
with safety and whether you have community.
and
So
that
being bold, and because I've
right.
heard other queer people say the same thing. A friend of mine says, "Be bold, be radical, be daring, be you." Sorry, be radical, be daring, be you. And it's like that's a lot when you have so much opposition that tells you,
Yeah,
we don't want you that.
we don't want your kind here. But and that was the next point that George made. It was like for reasons for safety, they didn't at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like that's a lot of the story or a lot of history in the LGBT community. But George goes on to say that we set the blueprint, and that's how everything is. And again, I love this book so much because it's just like sometimes there is no path. Like it's like we out here forging our path, forging our future, and just making a way and letting people
We
know who
have
we
to,
are.
because once again, if we don't do it, then someone else will tell our story for us, and it won't be our story.
Yeah. And the last 2 points were about the title, or and it goes again, wraps into all that. Or the main point was we deserve that kind of love. Um, and again, that for me, I just think about like how often or how many times were we denied, if you will, genuine love or genuine connections, like or people to know, get to know, and care for us, for we and for also we can care for them, out of fear. But again, it's safety in a sense, but it's just like we don't deserve all that bad stuff when quote unquote everybody else is living their life. And it's unfortunate that we have to um move in a certain manner where we're just like, I'm doing this to keep me safe, or I'm going to draw back so there is no issue. Um so yeah, I thought that was like a very beautiful point into the title, going back and reflecting on this situation of how everything was, because George said that and said that we deserve that kind of love.
The title being "The
George,
Prom Kings
yeah,
We Never Were."
and so George ended it and said we should have been prom kings, and it's just like, in other words, it's like I'm fly, you're fly, and it was like if it was a different time and different place, I could definitely see us being prom kings.
But that's the
But
thing. I want to just add the point of this is why we have ballroom culture now,
oh yeah,
because this gives queer people a space to have the prom that we never had. This is why we have the ceremonies that we have as queer people, because we're not invited in those spaces. Those spaces are not for queer people.
and I
Now
think
we're integrating that little by little as time goes on because of our stories that we're sharing,
hmm,
books that we're writing, but you know,
and
historically.
but I think for me is also you also unfortunately have some of the gatekeepers that are in place. So whenever it does come down to prom, quote unquote, king and queen, depending on who the people there are working, they're gonna put a stop to it. You know what I mean? They're like, no, not you, boy.
Traditionalists.
Right. So it's just like you sit there and it's like sometimes you have to wait until there is at least a voice of our voice in the room, or even if you're not a voice of our voice, like you're not a part of the LGBT
But
community,
a
but they
progressive
also like
person.
to progressive, or they like to say I'm an ally, so that is a part of the LGBT community,
Yes.
right? So you have to have those people that are like, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna stand up for these children because they're not doing anything that is out of the norm. And if students decide to vote for them, they vote for them. But I was gonna say, going on to from high school to college, I love when I see, and I mean, I can't necessarily, nope, I do remember, but like whenever there is like a person, I mean, I pay attention to a whole lot of HBCU culture, but like I love when I see that there is a person, a part of the Liga Bigga community that is the HBCU king or
Oh
something. I'm
yeah.
like, oh my God. And granted, they're going to show up as their authentic self, but then also they're like, I'm going to represent my institution to a certain point. But then when you look at their socials, they're not hiding back. They're not saying, oh, I can't do this. So I love that.
Did you
Um,
go to prom?
did I go to prom? Yes, I went to prom with this girl named Ashley. I think she asked me. I went to prom in 11th grade. I think I have a picture at my grandma's house. I may get that, and so we could pop it on the screen. I went with this girl named Ashley. She was so cool. It's crazy because I'm trying to remember what school I was at, but I don't think I was there for long.
Well, you weren't there
And
at
I
no school
probably,
for long.
yeah, I probably had like, I'm pretty sure I had like a friendship relationship with her. She was so nice, and I appreciate it so much because was it 11th grade or 12th grade? Maybe it was 12th grade. But
Did you go to one prom?
I only went to one
Oh,
prom.
okay.
But it was just so nice, and again, like my mom, she did a lot to make sure I went to prom, and I appreciated that.
Aww.
But
What were the colors?
our colors are like white and gold,
Okay.
like me and my prom date. But
Did you wear a white tux?
Yeah.
Oh, you were fancy. Go ahead on.
It was fun.
Cute.
Yeah.
I want to say, I mean, I went junior and senior with the same girlfriend.
Oh.
I think one color was like a teal turquoise, and the other one was gray. She looked good. I'm like, now if I were, we probably would have children, because, and I probably would have graduated college, because she got me there, and because anyway, but yeah. It's an experience.
But yeah, that's all I have. I wish, and my hope is that more and we are just continue to be bold and courageous. But I do know it takes like time and try. That's just like, oh my, I want to give them little boys a shout out. I don't know where they are, where they're from. They might be from like Miami, but like they were playing like the City Girls music or whatever.
Oh yeah,
and I was just like, oh my God, they're so adorable. I mean, I feel like the little pets. I'm like, oh my God, look at the baby gays. It's so cute.
But it's great to see that you can express yourself so early and not feel shame.
Is that on top of the fact, like, who gonna try them? Who gonna try? Like, but don't try my baby.
Not like, even that. It's like we're getting to a place where we don't have to fight every time.
I mean, it's just a reflex.
Of course, that's from our experiences, but from the younger ones, it's like we're getting to a place where you don't have to fight just to be who you are, and that is, thank goodness.
Yeah,
because it's like all of us, the generation before you, we had to do so much fighting just to be like, we here.
Yeah,
we been here. We gon' be here.
We been here, honey. We been here. Like, I love seeing those old like servicemen photos with their guys and they're just together.
All of those.
The guys and the girls, and I'm just like, they're together. And then like sometimes, they like keep them in the family, and then they be like, oh, what's this? And like, oh, that was Uncle Johnny, if you will, when Uncle Joe, and they still friends. They've been friends forever, and it's like friends, a little bit more than friends. But yeah, like you said, it's nice that they get to experience that. I also remember recently from social media, it was a I mean, I don't want to say, I guess you could say a cute little couple, but they were arguing at school and they were breaking up, but I was like, I need to have a chance to be with somebody to break up. But it was like, and then I think it was like an interracial couple. I was like, oh my, all the layers.
They got the layers, yeah.
So beautiful. It's like, even though y'all breaking up, like, stay together, please.
No, but share. Be open to share your experience
but they were literally
of humanness. Of like, oh, sometimes you fall in love, sometimes you break up, and it doesn't have to be secret in the closet, behind closed doors, in the shadows.
Oh my God! Like when I say it filled my heart, I'm like, where's the movie? Like, it's just so beautiful. But again, is like you said, I don't want to be on the fence all the time. Like, oh, we got to fight, like fight or flight mode. But at the same time, it's just like what we're used to versus now. And even when we talk about like the little boys that are like bold enough to be who they are, is also the other little quote unquote, not DL, but like trade boys that are like, on the side.
Well, we're glad that social changes have brought a different culture.
Ushered in, if
Ushered
you
in.
will. I
Hey,
love it.
hey, come on,
I love
church.
Usher, but ushered in.
Come on,
Hallelujah.
church.
And speaking of church, if you will, okay, if you will,
Even churches changed life.
if you will. But it's like when you think about that in the sense of like a usher, like this book is like an usher, whereas like an usher is a guide into finding your place.
A seat.
It's all a seat at the
table. If we just want to give him praise right now, hey! Woo! We're gonna praise God on today.
Oh my God! I know this mic is just going through it, but yes, metaphorically. Yes. I mean, it's this book. It
deserves a praise break.
It does. I mean, this book. When I tell you, it's so good. Like I can't wait till we do the wrap up. But yeah, I do. I feel like this book is a part of that because, again, when we think about that girl in her mind. You that bitch when you cause all this conversation.
Hey.
This book would not be such a problem if it wasn't like, and I don't even think it's radical. It's just sharing.
It's radical in the sense of, we have never heard these stories before.
Yeah,
and like and throughout human history, without it being like taboo, it's like we're now stripping away the taboo-ness of our stories just to be. It's just normal, y'all. It's just a part of life. Yeah. And speaking of just sending grace and good and goodness to George as they are in court today over this book because of all the contention with it's being banned here and there, and it's like y'all just want to squash out voices of queer folk because you want to maintain the status quo. When the status quo is just changing, y'all don't want to embrace change. It just will change.
And you're just trying to hide the truth. And my thing is, if we're being honest, I just pray and I hope that this story will get to the minds of the people that it needs to get to, and not just queer bodies, not just people with the LGBT. Like everybody that really hear. Right. I do feel like it is a story for everyone. Where it's just like we all have a story. There's nothing wrong. Like who's going to read your story? And it's not saying that I feel like everyone has a story to tell. You know what I mean?
And it's not that dissimilar.
Right.
As you think it is.
And it doesn't, but my thing is it doesn't have to be like this, but it's just like someone wants to read your story, like share it. And I feel like this is a very important story to tell. So as we mentioned.
Another reason we started this channel, because we also have stories to share that we are sharing. Even when we get down to the nitty of the gritty.
Yeah,
it's still real because it's lived experience.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I have.
Well, that was George M. Johnson's All Boys Are Blue, Chapter 12, the King
we were supposed to be, or something like that. I forgot.
Not it.
We could run it back.
Chapter 12.
The Prom Kings We Never Were.
Thank you all for stopping by. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. My name is Jeremy.
My name is Akeem, and we'll see you on the next episode.